Donald, just firstly, how excited are you to get into your role of Women and Girls Managing Director here at Rangers?
Yeah, really excited. It's been a bit of a long time coming from the initial conversations with the club, being based in the US as well, and having to go through all of the relocation pieces and making the difficult choice to leave the US in the first place, and then finally getting in here and being surrounded with some really fantastic people has been really exciting, and it's a great opportunity, and yeah, a really positive welcome. The job is Managing Director of the Women's Programme, so that oversees everything from the first team through to the academy. The first couple of weeks have really just been about meeting people, and it's really been incredibly positive, the experience that I've had. Everybody through to the security people coming through the gates, to the fantastic staff that we've got here, Sarah, Faye, Joe, Ash, obviously the players, and then moving down into the academy with Todd Lumsden and all the staff down there has been fantastic too. So the first couple of weeks have just really been about finding my feet, understanding the environment, and then we'll start getting going as time passes. The attraction at the club is twofold really. I left the job with the Scottish FA about 5 years ago, just after the World Cup, and the national team had provided a platform because of its success for the growth of the women's game that was already happening. Participation was continuing to increase, the infrastructure of clubs were beginning to increase. There was only maybe one kind of part-time club at the time with professional players. And from a distance, watching the clubs and the game evolve in the last 5 years has been really exciting to see happening as a part of that in the past. And so, particularly for Rangers, who are leading the way when it comes to the investment that they've got in the girls and women's game at academy level and at first team level, the ambitions that Craig Robertson spoke to me about in terms of where they want to be and what they want to do, was a massively attracting factor. I know quite a lot of the first team players from either Scotland, due to my previous post, or even from my previous post when young players were just developing, like Kirsty McLean, making me feel incredibly old, but she was a lot younger, working within the regional squads at that point in time. And so the positives were so many, the investment, the people that I knew were there, and really the way that Rangers were pushing towards something bigger and better for the club and for the women's game as a whole. The job that was in previously at Colorado Rapids Youth Soccer Club was fantastic. It was a club of 12,000 members, spanning 100 miles of Colorado. And if you can imagine, when I left the job of head of girls and women's football, there was 18,000 registered girls playing in the country at that point in time. And so the opportunity in Colorado to shape and develop that model for 12,000 players was huge, and the way that they did it was fantastic. So the consideration was that me and my family were having a wonderful experience in Colorado, a beautiful place, and really a fantastic, really proactive, really dynamic, really creative, I would say nation-leading club in the US at youth level. And leave that and come back to Scotland was a massive consideration for both professional development and the family. And so there weren't really going to be many opportunities that made sense until this one came up, and all the things that I've spoken about in the past. So loads of pieces to consider, but really the opportunity for myself at the club and then the family was too big and too fantastic to walk away from.
Yeah, and you just touched on you've been involved in football for a long time. Just talk to us your role a bit more at the SFA and the responsibilities that you had there.
So I was at the SFA for around 12 years, with the last 3 years of it being as head of girls and women's football. So that involved the oversight of everything from grassroots through to developing talent, club development talent, and passing on to youth national team coaches and the national team coach at that point. I believe the roles have changed slightly in the time that I've been away now in terms of what the head coach at national team level is doing now, and then the national performance department that's in there. So my job was to try and develop a participation pathway at grassroots level that provided a way for young girls to get into football. It was to support clubs in their infrastructure and their development, to support the coach education and development of coaches that were working within there, and then try and drive investment into the game at national level, whether it was from commercial sponsorships or from Sport Scotland or facility development, and really work across a whole range of staff within the organisation. And so a really rewarding and fantastic experience, not just resulting of course in qualification in the Euros in the Netherlands in 2017 and the World Cup in 2019, but all the wonderful work that was done by the development officers and things like that over the time there. I saw a report from the Scottish FA the other day that talked about the popularity of the women's game, and that football was now the #1 sport in terms of popularity in the country, which is huge. Obviously being in the men's and women's side. Participation, I think, is around mid-20,000s, which is just fantastic. Again, testament to all the grassroots clubs that are around there, providing pathways into regular participation. I've got 4 kids, 2 girls at 6 and 12 that both play, and the opportunities that they have now to play for a sustained period of time, either at an elite level, if that is something that happens for them, or recreationally, it is incredible. It's just really exciting. In terms of the development of the professional leagues or SWPL, SWPL2, I think it's still ongoing. I think that there are some clubs that have done some tremendous work. I look at Hearts and the growth over them over the last few years, and that's not just about the investment, that's about the people that they have there as well, the infrastructure, whether it's at the Orium or whatever. The growth has been so exciting to watch from a distance, and again, being back and being part of it now is a massive incentive for me to try and bring success to this club. It's such an exciting time to be part of the club. The work that the people have done who have came before me, friends and former colleagues, has been utterly groundbreaking, and I feel a bit spoiled actually coming into this job, because I understand, having worked in the girls' and women's game for 20 plus years, the amount of effort and the buy-in and the energy that it takes to get to this point where you've got an investment from a professional club that is huge. And so their work has really allowed me to come in at a point where the question isn't, okay, how do we establish? The platform is there. What we need to do now is progress to a point where the ambitions are now being stretched beyond what we have here. So that means winning, of course, but it means competing and developing on a European stage. It means Champions League. It means developing talent. It means investing in female coach development. It means all of those elements. And again, I feel kind of spoiled that I've got the opportunity to really get my teeth into something that is at that point already. And it's really just testament to the club, the board, the people who have come before me, both players and head coaches and academy directors, and all of these people that have put the work in to be able to be at this point. The vision is still evolving, if I'm going to be honest, and having been in the post for 2 weeks, I think the vision is driven by, again, I just keep coming back to the people when I include the players in that. The group of players that are at the club right now are a group that are special. Again, I know that's a cliche, and I'm not just talking about what they bring on the field. The experience, the commitment, the value that they have for one another and the club is massive, and you don't always get that. I think that Joe has brought them together in a way that is providing a greater focus than what's happening on the field. You look at the young players coming in, whether it's Mia Macaulay or Jodie or whoever, they feel like they've been about for many years, because of the way that maybe the more experienced players have grabbed hold of them, and that's just about values, that's just about how they think and feel about one another and want to bring success, and that then breeds success, which has obviously been seen in how they've performed so far this year. You know, Joe's keen to stress that they haven't won anything yet. I think they're obviously performing at a really high level, at levels that I don't think I've necessarily seen in this country before, and we want to see that continue for many, many years to come. I think the vision will evolve along those lines. I think there's youth in the vision, I think there's experience in the vision, but hopefully at the end there'll be trophies in the vision.